Hi, everybody. It is Tuesday, July 25th. We are now in Bloomington, Indiana. We just got in, I don't know what time it is now, noon, going on 1 or something like that. We did another long haul last night, starting at around 12:30 last night, and just got in here. And now we're going to spend the day here in a hotel while the drivers sleep, and then we'll finish our run tomorrow night probably to Ohio. But this is the worst grind of the tour, is this one. A number of people chose to fly, but a whole bunch of us just said we're going to just bus it. Lyle flew home, but he's coming back with his family on it, so his bus drove down to Texas from Montana to pick them up, and then they're driving up to Ohio. But a whole group of the folks just said, no, we're not going to do this run. But I'll tell you, when there's shows involved and with the iffiness of travel at this point, because everybody I know who's been flying gets there and flights are canceled, delayed, gates changed, and they miss connections because hardly anything's direct. I just thought I'd really rather stay on the bus, watch movies and chill out and know exactly where I am, because that's the requirement of the gig, is to be there when we're needed. So I'm hoping everybody, when they meet up tomorrow in Ohio, makes it in time, and there's no issues for anybody. But and I'm going to get some sleep now. I was up most of the night just watching movies in my bunk. It was great. Somebody just wrote to me and said, well, if you're into it, you should check out Jacques Tati. Great. Suddenly I put a smile on my face, because one of my all-time favorite movies growing up was Mon Oncle with Jacques Tati. He's such a great comedic actor. Of probably the 50s is when that was made, Mon Oncle. But I loved it as a kid. My sister and I used to watch that all the time. So I'm getting suggestions about things, which is nice, because I get tired of perusing the thing. So to get people to send me stuff to say, hey, check this out, it's really cool. But I've been I'm here every day with Russ. And we're talking about the immediate family and things that are coming up and all the projects and stuff. And then it makes us kind of both nostalgic for the old days of the section when we were doing that band. And so I thought I'd play a couple of more tunes that I don't think I've ever played on this channel from our first album. Now, our first album was a self-titled album. Just for some reason, come on, things aren't working here. Hold on just a minute. There we go. I'm trying to get things to scroll. It's weird when things kind of lock up on the computer and you're sitting there going, come on, give me a break. Well, the first album was from 1972, and it was self-titled The Section. And the album cover on that was a cherry pie with the section cut out in it. Gary Burden, who was the art director, his wife Annette baked this pie for them to use. Completely inedible, because it was all full of like the kind of dyes they use to enhance things when they're doing advertising, promote, pictures for, foods and things. They're never as they really are. I mean, you look at a hamburger in the ad, and then you go to like McDonald's or Burger King, and it comes out and you go, it doesn't quite look like the one in the picture. Well, the pictures are really enhanced. But we loved the cover. It was really funny, just section of the pie coming out. And Annette did a great job on that. And Gary was always one of the finer art directors in this business. The album covers that are credited to him are really some of the greatest in the business. So I'm going to play a couple of things from this first album here. I'm just curious why this is not scrolling. It's really weird. But the heck with it. I'm going to start with a song here. It's Same Old, Same Old. And on this album, the keyboards are the great Craig Durkee, who still lives right near me, where we still see each other. And I miss him a lot because we did so many sessions together over the years. And I first met Craig doing Tom Jens and Mimi Farina, and that's when I turned Peter Asher onto him when we knew that Carol was going to be leaving James Taylor's band. And I brought Craig in to take her place in it, and this is how the section formed. So we got Craig Durgee on keyboards, we got Danny Cooch Korchmar on guitar, we got me on bass, we have Russ Kunkel on drums and percussion, have Michael Brecker on sax and flute on this, and boy do I miss Michael Brecker, but God did I love working with him. The album was produced, actually co-produced by Robert A. Pear and the section, and Robert A. Pear engineered the album, and this song was written by Danny. So here we go, Same Old, Same Old. I loved how this band could sit back. My old Peace Love bass, pre-Frankenstein. We cut this at Clover Recording Studios. a study in restraint on those kind of tempos. Boy, just sitting there, and there's no click on that. It was just the band locked in. And it's so good when I listen to this. I mean, to me, there's like such a maturity in the playing of everybody. And it's like really, it's live stuff. I mean, we're not sitting there cutting and splicing like crazy. This is performance recording. And we were all probably around 22 or so when we were doing this first album. It still just always kind of blows my mind when I hear it. I just really love it. What do we got here? Oh, here's a beautiful one. This was Michael Brecker. Michael was such a beautiful musician. I remember the first time we played Carnegie Hall with James Taylor. We had Michael and Randy Brecker and Barry Rogers on trombone, or the horn section there, and we're all sitting in Carnegie Hall going, it's Carnegie Hall, it's Carnegie Hall. But after that, I did, a number of things with Michael, and I stayed in touch with Michael all the way up to the very end of his life, and he was one of the most amazing musicians I've ever had the joy of working with. So he's featured on this one, so this is called Swan Song. Soprano, sax. And Michael, it was so good. I mean, we're all just a bunch of punk kids during this. Boy, listening to that track though, I'm gonna whip out my old Peace Love bass and play that a bit more. I think that was the bass I had pre Frankenstein, and that was the bass I used on all the early James Taylor, all of our early section stuff. It's what I played on Doctor My Eyes. Lots and lots of stuff for those first few years of the 70s of our career. That was the bass on everything. So I'm going to take that. I think I've played it on a few videos on the channel early on when I was playing along with things. I'll get back to that at some point. I can't really do that from the road. I don't have an amp in the room here. Don't have the setup that I have at home. But when I get home, I'll play along with some more things again. But just hearing the guys, it just really warms my heart. So I'll do two more quick little ones here. I'll just do one more here. I'll say some. This was a perky little number here. This is called Zippo Dippo, and Cooch and Craig wrote this one. And just, boy, hearing the textures and stuff Craig plays, God, he's such a great player. So here we go, Zippo Dippo. Nice little 2-minute warm-up there. Oh, these kids nowadays, I'll tell you, I don't know what to say. So that's it, a little section revisit there. God, I love playing with the guys, and I love those albums that we did. And it's when you hear stuff like that, it's really easy to understand when we turned that album into Warner Brothers, how they kind of sat there going, that's not what we expected, and had no clue what to do with it at all. So we kind of wallowed in the shallow waters, and then eventually moved on to Capitol, still in the shallow waters, and then finally just crawled out of the primordial ooze into getting back to work. But we're all still together, and that's the incarnation of the immediate family kind of grew from those roots. So it's all good. It's all good. So I'm going to get some rest here. I'm tired as hell. And but we will be back on tour tomorrow. I'll have a wander through of another venue. Once we get there, I'll see where it is. I was going to do some practicing today because we have a show, I believe it's at Wolf Trap coming up, where we're going to be with the Washington Symphony, like in the same way we were with the Colorado Symphony when we played Red Rocks. So I've got some songs to review that we'll be doing with them that we haven't played since that show. So I'm going to get to work on that. But I was going to I'm glad I wasn't dragging my bass, because I got to, this is one of the hotels we're in where it's like all these different buildings. And I'm wandering or trying to find mine, lugging my suitcase and my carry bag. and usually if I have my bass in, I'd also have my bass with me, and it's a lot. And I finally find the room, and the key doesn't work. These magic keys that are so completely useless. So I had to drag everything back to the front desk, and I had to figure out where the front desk was, and got that, and finally got a key and got in here. So I'm kind of going, I'm glad I wasn't dragging my bass with me this time around, but I'll probably take it out in the next day or two and start reviewing like a half a dozen songs that we'll be doing with the symphony that we're only doing with the symphony and not in the regular show. So I'm blabbering on. So I'm going to get going here, just get myself a little bit of rest, maybe to walk outside and see if there's anything around us here worth wandering and looking at. But I have no clue where we are, other than Bloomington, Indiana, but we seem to be next to a highway, so I doubt if we're near anything of any interest. So, okay, well, I'm out of here. Have a fabulous day. I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll take it from there. Okay, bye-bye.